Welcome to the channel, adventurers. In an interview recently, Yoshi-P was asked, if any, what prep should we as players be doing for Dawntrail? What was his response? That we should make sure that we rewatch the cutscenes from the Myths of Eorzea questline, play through the raids again, make a point of remembering everyone in the 12, as well as the Convocation of 14. So for everyone that's forgotten, or just needs a gentle reminder, let's do a rundown on that right now. This video will solely be focusing on the 12 and the Myths of Eorzea raids, with the next video, or maybe two, giving a brief recap on the Convocation of 14. I won't be doing a deep dive into any individual characters because that would probably require separate videos from most of the Ascians. However, if that's something you're interested in, why don't you let me know in the comments what characters you think you might like a full lore video on, and I'll do my best to give it a go. Also, given what we're covering in this video, here is your obvious spoiler warning. So let's hit that like, don't forget to subscribe, press that notification bell, and let's get started on talking about what the 12 are. So what exactly are the 12? 12 are a pantheon of gods and goddesses, Eidolon, also known as the Source or Aetheris, whose majority of worshippers reside in Eorzea. The 12 are made up of 13 beings, 12 more widely recognised deities, 13th unnamed god who we will talk about later on. In the 12, there are two gods aligned with the 6 elements, Nophica and Althyk aligned to earth, Azeyma and Nald'Thal being fire, Byregot and Rhalgr associated with lightning, Llymlaen and Oschon akin to wind, Thaliak and Nymeia correspondent to water, and lastly, Halone and Menphina kindred to ice. Before we get on to who the 12 are, we need to talk about the questline, The Myths of the Realm. In the Myths of the Realm storyline, we find out about the origin story of the 12, as well as the task duty given to them by Halone. The Warrior of Light and Grah'Hatir are asked by Rambros via proxy to meet him in Mordona. We are tasked with finding an explorer, and our search leads us to finding a baby Opo, who we most certainly didn't assume to be the explorer we were looking for, and a hire called Derek, who was later revealed to be Oschon. Derek claims to have found a phantom realm he has named the Ompolos. Entering this phantom realm, we encounter some of the 12, who claim they are intending on taking over Eidolon's role as supreme deity. They issue the Warrior of Light to essentially what is a trial by combat, to see if we are worthy of pathing our own destiny. In time, however, it is revealed what the true motive for their combat challenge was. The purpose was to drain their aether so they could eventually perish. We help them achieve this goal following a final challenge against Eulogia, a fusion of the 12. Derek informs us that the 12 were created from the soul of Manat's former companions in Elpis, before the Sundering. Now that they feel that their duties have finally been fulfilled, they wish to return to the star just like the other Amaretines. However, following this, Oschon decides to stay on Aetheris to wander the star in mortal form as Derek. Before the final fight, we start to uncover the duties placed on the 12 by Eidolon, but we find a duty mentioning an unnamed 13th god. He who is unnamed shall watch unflinching, duty to stand guard over his charge, always and unto the end. We surmise that this unnamed god is the Watcher, whose charge was none other than Zodiark. As the Watcher resided on Mare Lamentorum, they also watched over the divine forms of the 12 on Eidolon. Prior to the Sundering, the Watcher was an archivist to Amnesis and Ida, trusted confidant of Manat. Their friendship endured beyond the original final days. Though most of his time has been spent in solitude, the Loporrits occasionally seek his counsel regarding their constant improvements of the moon's amenities. Now, with the Myths of Eorzea recapped and our 13th god briefly explained, let's move on to the more well-known deities who make up the 12. So let's talk about who the 12 are on Eidolon and who they were on Elpis before the Sundering. Nophica. Nophica, tender of soils and harvests and goddess of abundance. She is the guardian deity of Gridania. Whilst on Elpis, Nophica was a well-known landscape architect and botanist. He preferred to care for plants through natural instead of magical means. Her symbol is the spring leaf. A duty given to her by Eidolon. Nophica shall provide over fertility, her duty to fill the land with life and prepare a path of peace and plenty. Althyk. In Eorzea, Althyk is known as the Surveyor of Change and Space, the god of time. Althyk was a researcher of newly made creations in Elpis. His symbol is the hourglass. His duty placed on him by Eidolon. Althyk shall provide over space and time, his duty to endow the star with material vigour, and that mankind's march may never cease. Azeyma. Azeyma is the Keeper of the Sun and Goddess of Inquiry on Hydaelyn, but on Elpis, Azeyma was a judicial officer in the Bureau of the Administrator. She was a strong supporter of the seat of Azem in the Convocation of 14. Her symbol is the Radiant Sun. Her duty placed upon her. Azeyma shall preside over the sun. Her duty to nurture its life-giving light and illuminate the truth for all to see. Nald'Thal. Nald'Thal, overseer of the underworld and god of commerce, is the guardian deity of Ul'dah. In Elpis, Nald'Thal was a merchant with both an outgoing and reserved personality. In most of Eorzea, Nald'Thal is considered a single deity. However, in Ul'dah he is considered a pair of divine twins, Nald and Thal. This was mirrored in the fight that we had with Nald'Thal in the encounter with the 12. He possessed the ability to split himself into two beings. His symbol is the cowrie, an ancient shell currency. The duty, given to him by Hydaelyn? Nald'Thal shall preside over the subterrane. His duty, to make it gleam with riches hidden in the darkest depths as well as in man themselves. Byregot. In Etheirys, Byregot is the purveyor of architecture and industry, god of the arts. Byregot was gifted in creation magics tailored towards inanimate objects such as buildings. He was a supervisor at the Bureau of the Architect. His symbol is the hand. The duty entrusted unto him by Hydaelyn? Byregot should preside over construction. His duty to fortify the works of men and encourage them to build. Rhalgr. Rhalgr, the Breaker of Worlds, is the god of destruction and guardian deity of the nation of Alamigo. Rhalgr was created from what would have been considered as a brawny Amaratine, whom Banat encountered on her travels. They succeeded in destroying a meteor which threatened Elpis as well as the rest of Etheirys. This gave him the title of the Destroyer, which makes sense given that his symbol is a streaking meteor. What was his duty? Rhalgr shall provide over destruction, his duty to galvanise the star's beating heart and facilitate mankind's regeneration. Llymlaen. Llymlaen, Watcher of the Seas and Goddess of Navigation. She is the guardian deity of Llymlaen. Llymlaen was a researcher who specialised in aquatic creations at Metabaseus Thalassai, an Elpis research facility. She was highly protective of her research specimen, to the point of throwing a knife at someone who accidentally came too close. Her symbol is the wave. Task entrusted to her by Hydaelyn? Llymlaen shall preside over the seas, her duty to administer the tides and inspire men to come together as one and seek new horizons. Oschon. Oschon is the ruler of the mountains and god of the wanderers and vagrants on Eorzea. Oschon was created from one of Banat's companions whom she encountered whilst travelling beyond Elpis. His symbol is the walking stick. Duty given by Hydaelyn? Oschon shall provide over the mountains, his duty to sustain the breath of the firmament and in wandering share men's solitude. Thaliak. Thaliak, ruler of the rivers and wisdom, and the god of knowledge. He's the guardian deity of Sharlayan. Thaliak was a headmaster of Academia Anida on Elpis, a renowned scholar. His symbol is the scroll. The duty he was given by Hydaelyn? Thaliak shall provide over the rivers, his duty to quench the thirst of men and water their minds with wisdom. Nymeia. On the source, Nymeia is the watcher of celestial bodies and the goddess of fate. Nymeia observed creations in Elpis similar to her older brother Althyk. Her symbol is the spinning wheel. The duty given to her by Hydaelyn? Nymeia shall preside over the stars. Her duty is to preserve the celestial fabric of the seasons and weave the threads of men's lives. Halone. Halone was the mover of glaciers and the goddess of war, also called the Fury. She was the guardian deity of Ishgard. Halone was a skilled warrior who hunted potentially dangerous creations from Elpis. He was a leading contender for the seat of Pashtarot in the Convocation of 14. Her symbol is the three spears. The duty entrusted to her by Hydaelyn? Halone shall preside over the glaciers, her duty to hold the melting ice at bay and imbue men with constancy and tranquility. Menphina. On Hydaelyn, Menphina is the keeper of the twin moon and the goddess of love. While on Elpis, Menphina was one of Banat's youngest companions. He was a student under the words of La Hebrea in Academia Andia. She was one of who discovered the magic to seal Zodiac. Her symbol is the full moon. Duty given to her by Hydaelyn? Menphina shall preside over the moon, her duty to perpetuate the turning of night and day and foster love in the hearts of all. So that's it for this video. That covers our very brief recap of the 12 as well as the storyline from Mists of Eorzea. The following video, or two depending, will be on the Convocation of 14, the group of Ascians who have found themselves very integral to the plot of A Realm Reborn right the way through to Endwalker. Feel free to follow me on my socials listed below, as well as join our community on Discord. We look forward to seeing you in the next video. Take care, and pray return to the Waking Sands.